crises are the biggest story in the world.
Hey guys, well that was 50 seconds of Greta Thunberg, who made a surprise appearance at the Glastonbury Festival today to warn everyone about climate change. Apparently we haven't had enough warnings. And I know I may sound like a climate skeptic when I say that, but I do feel like it does kind of dominate the news, and if people in the world are not aware of climate change by now, I don't understand how that is possible. Because it's everywhere, isn't it? It's on every time you turn on the news, and after a while I get so fatigued by hearing the same thing over and over again. But anyway, here she is telling people that same message and saying we should talk about it everywhere, which I kind of thought, the places she mentioned, I thought these are rather bizarre places. At union meetings, dusty country roads. Okay, I mean we can talk about it there, but how often? All the time, she seems to suggest, in songs, in films, and all that kind of stuff. But surely, making films is an environmentally unfriendly process, isn't it? Recording songs, is that environmentally friendly? I don't know. Country roads, I mean, to get to a country road, don't you have to drive there? I think sometimes, I know I'm being cynical, but I just think, I think we're talking about it a lot already, and I do think sometimes that perhaps we over-talk about it, and I also think, talking to an audience at Glastonbury, a lot of the people who attend those kind of festivals are normally fairly environmentally conscious anyway. I don't really see who you're trying to convince there. It's a bit like preaching to the choir. But of course, she's Greta Thunberg, so naturally when she does anything, the gammon come out on Twitter to criticise her, and some quite funny comments here, which you may find amusing or may not. And this guy here says, why does she read from paper created by chopping trees down? Why does she use a microphone and speakers powered by electricity generated in coal-fired power plants? Why does she fly in aeroplanes? Why does Nazi sympathiser Soros fund her? Okay, well, I'm not so sure about that. Someone else also mentioned, well, cancelling festivals would be a good place to start. 250,000 people travelling across the country to attend an event powered by 20,000 diesel generators. Another fair point. If we were going to really be strict about it, we would have to cancel big festivals, we'd have to cancel air travel, all that kind of stuff. And I do wonder how she got to the festival. I imagine she's smart enough to know that she has to take a particularly specific route in order to avoid these kind of people getting on her case. But anyway, listen, I've said what I've said. I find personally climate change stuff, I hear it a lot, and also I'm paying for it personally. You know, I live in London, I have to pay the ULEZ charge if I take a car that doesn't meet the emissions target into central London. I have to pay extra for parking if I take a un-ULEZ approved car into the centre of London. I also, you know, at my children's school, they talk about it all the time as well. We now have school zones all over the borough I live in, where they've basically stopped you bringing your car near the school, so you're not allowed to bring your car into the road near the school. They're also blocking off roads in the residential area where I live, so you can no longer drive your car down through the road. You have to go around and go. So there's lots of stuff going on. I'm like, okay, you're doing all this for cleaner air, better environment, but sometimes I question the logic of it, because a lot of these things they're doing, such as blocking roads and everything, is just pushing traffic to another area where, for some reason, that particular area they're pushing the traffic to, it's okay for that part to be heavily polluted, but not this part. I don't get it myself, all right? But, you know, it's not like sometimes you feel like you're trying, but no one's really helping you. So they say, get an electric car. Well, that's bloody expensive, an electric car. They say, okay, well, don't drive to work. Take the train. They were striking this week, you know? Get on a bike. It's very dangerous to ride a bike in London. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But anyway, that's just me. There you go. So there you go. Greta was at Glastonbury. If I was going to a music festival, it's not something I'd particularly want to be listening to. But then again, I guess I'm not the typical Glastonbury attendee. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.